Then just try to be a little more polite.
Okay.
I've been paying attention to my grammar and sentence structure, the whole interaction with Iggy, and now you're bring her on. The first thing you do is beat him up, so to speak.
I can't be anybody but myself. I'm sorry. It's not easy being Pete.
No, I wouldn't want to be you for a minute. I know that one.
The live stream running yet?
Sorry.
Live stream's going. I'm just shooting out
Oh.
the air. Nobody pays attention. All right, we're golden.
You ready?
I mean, yeah, let's go.
This week on the Media Virus Podcast, in a stunning twist, Delaware's governor allows legislation legalizing recreational cannabis to pass into law without a signature or a veto. You're already drunk, you might as well smell good. Wearable gin is the next big thing. A pastor in South Africa claims to heal spiritual and physical ailments with his flatulence. All this, WSL founder Iggy Perillo. Stanley brings us more Just the Tips, and we visit Maddie's TikTok Nonsense Corner on this, the 129th episode of the Media Virus Podcast. It's the Media Virus Podcast. Let's point and laugh at the world burning around us with executive producer Mike Latoris. We're going to start over. BBC correspondent Stanley McFadden.
Makes me tingly in an unfamiliar way.
Grease Monkey Pete.
Damn, Big Daddy.
Here's the thing about the Media Virus Podcast. It's really well done.
And now, spreading the sage nihilism of an aged Gen Xer, your host and mine, the star of our show, the incomparable Maddie Rockdeath.
Hot damn, do we have a show for you people this week. I am Maddie Rockdeath, the Maddiest of all Rockdeaths, and proof positive that anyone can have a podcast. Speaking of, welcome to the Media Virus Podcast. Please like, subscribe, follow, and share. I would like to take a minute to thank all of our new subscribers. I put the teleprompter in a bad place. I'd like to thank all our new subscribers and invite everybody to take a minute, head on over to themediavirus.com. Check out all of that awesome content. You can always give us a call at 1-646-VIRUS-01. That's 1-646-VIRUS-01. Give us a call. You might make it on the show. You can always leave us a message. Who knows? We do a lot of goofy shit around here. We are going to find out all about this week's guest in the B block, but she is, she is so much more than can be fit into a quick introduction. I guess the best term would be leadership building expert. Iggy Perillo. Iggy, did I come close to what? No?
Perfect. No, that was perfect. Yeah, I'll take it.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So, for those who follow the show, might know that I am, in fact, a cannabis advocate. And I have been becoming one of my 87-year-old mother's weed connect. What in the living fuck? I'm pardon. Everything's.
And mom just tuned out.
Well, yeah, my mom doesn't like how I curse. So my sister and I have been recommending that she, ever since she had to go through fentanyl withdrawal, that she use. And we started with the edibles. So we went to Jersey last weekend and we took them to run errands, and we get back and whatever. And we wind up, I'm smoking a bowl with my mom. Okay. And this is like a very, very strange thing for me because I had kind of like a flashback. Now it's also too, I want to point out, I smoked with her. It was her bowl and her weed, although she calls it a marijuana pipe, which is just adorable. But I had a flashback to when I was like 18 and she found, do you guys know what beaties are?
Yeah.
They're like little Indian cigarettes. They're almost a cone shape. And back in the 90s, we used to smoke those because they were cheap and they tasted like lemons. So anyway, she found beaties, and I came home, and my mom punched me in the side of the head right here. And then she held them up and she punched me again. And then she said, I found you drugs. Now, while bobbing and weaving, I explained that they were not drugs. They were imported cigarillos from India. And they are cheap because in my family, like it's the waste of money. That was
Frugality is a big deal.
What's that? Yeah.
Frugality is big.
Frugality topped whatever moral construct you needed. My dad just needed it's cheaper that way. That's why my dad for years tried to convince me to be gay because he said, you'll never support a family. You are way too lazy. And that was very insulting in many different ways.
No, really?
Yeah. But I also explained at that time that I'm not dumb enough to leave my drugs laying around. It didn't help the situation at the time. But, when those types of feelings resurface, it can be kind of hard to deal with. But luckily, the recreational cannabis has just been passed in Delaware, so I never have to go to Jersey again, Mike.
Except to see your mom and dad.
What? I was going to get weed. Because the dispensary is in their neighborhood.
Oh, so it was just convenient to stop.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like I can't, it's the guilt. It's the Catholic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't be that
now.
close.
Now I'm not going anywhere near Jersey, so it's problem solved.
Well, yeah, as you said, we have recreational marijuana here in Delaware. You may have to continue to go to Jersey for another year or so because they don't expect the licenses for the.
I'll tell you, I'm not going to go to New Jersey to do that. I'm going to find a local distributor. I'll just go find my old local distributor.
Oh, okay.
Who's married to his sister. And
okay.
And now that's not a problem. I can just say that. That's not an issue.
Okay.
Right? It's a legal activity. Iggy, what state do you hail from?
I'm in Oregon, where we've mastered the legalization of so many things.
God, you guys can do whatever you want. That's incredible.
Sort of. The licensing is legit, though, as Mike said. That's a thing, and getting the dispensaries and the regulations it's all happening.
Didn't they decriminalize all drugs?
Sort of. They decriminalized many in small amounts for personal use. If they had them on your body when they arrested you, they couldn't elevate your sentencing for possessing drugs of many, many types and sorts if they were on your body. And instead, we're diverting people.
But they're still going after the major distributors of.
Right.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
It's still a crime. And the idea is that then you would save money and you could put more money into, like, we are actually extremely terrible at doing things like rehab here and treatment for folks, so that those funds would be diverted toward more rehab style spaces and supporting people in other ways. Which
is a better plan than prison most of the time.
Yeah,
I tell you, I got a lot of respect.
Doesn't seem to solve things, right?
I got a lot of respect for Oregon. Our second show ever, episode 2, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of Oregon blowing up a dead whale.
Oh yeah, that's huge. Coos Bay, popular. They still celebrated this. It's a celebration, right? It's a annual
commemorated
remembrance.
every day.
Yeah,
everybody kind of goes, "Hey, remember when we blew up a whale?" They go, "Yeah, it's awesome."
You can find it on the internet. It's an amazing video.
Oh, we did.
Recommend the watch.
We watched it. We watched it in detail. I paused it. The poetry in that video was just, I mean,
that made that newscaster's career. Like he was like,
absolutely.
Now, I did find out something this year when I saw some coverage that I didn't realize before, that the reasoning behind the highway department being there, which was something that we discussed, but we never came to the root cause of. All of the beaches in Oregon are considered highways.
Cool. I did not know that, but Goonies, that's where they start racing. So clearly that's a thing. So yeah.
Years ago, when automobiles became a thing, the best open spaces that people could find were typically the beaches. So they would drive up and down the beaches.
Wow. That is
And
waterways were natural
so
conveyance.
in order to maintain that strip, all of the beaches, one of the governors way back when declared all of the beaches to be state highways.
So it was the highway department that had to clean them all.
And nobody has ever gone back and said, you know what, the beaches aren't highways. The beaches are beaches.
I'm gonna go start driving on them right now. I didn't
should.
know.
I'm not entirely sure it's against the law.
So, well, I mean, when you listen,
Check
the
your
thing
local
is, I know we got a little sidetracked, but when you phone in, or, zoom in from a place as awesome as Oregon, we're all sitting in Delaware. We're in Delaware, and they just our claim to fame is they just leave 9th state or some shit.
22nd.
What is it?
22nd for recreation.
Oh, is it? I thought it was 30. I thought okay, it was 22nd. We're the 22nd recreational state. That's our governor completely wouldn't sign the bill. He would not be the governor to bring weed to Delaware.
So was it like a veto override kind of thing? Is that
Yeah.
what happened?
I think they had enough members to.
He knew that we did have enough votes to do a veto override, but since he has vetoed it in the past, and he's now issued a statement that it's no longer worth his time to push back against, they would veto or override his veto anyway. So he just refused to sign and allowed it to pass into law without a signature.
Cool.
I mean, whatever's clever.
That's code for
Politics
he didn't want any
fascinating.
more bags of dog poop on his front step.
Oh, I'm sure.
Pete can stop following the dog now.
That was an old Cheech and Chong visit. The dog ate my stash.
Labrador.
Followed around for 3 days.
A little bit of Maui Wowie mixed with some Labrador.
Back when just talking about weed was funny to people who smoked weed.
Mm-hmm.
I made some careers.
Yeah,
for those
Cheech and
guys.
Chong, really. I mean, yeah. Is there any more relevant information to that story?
There will be 30 retail licenses that come up, and they expect those to be issued by August of 2024.
30. Wait. 30 for the entire state of Delaware?
Yes.
It's not a big state. There's only 3 counties in Delaware.
Okay. Just checking.
92 miles tip to tail.
Yeah.
We can drive the state inside of 2 hours. You can
Maybe that makes more sense. I feel like there are 30 dispensaries within 2 neighborhoods of me, but different. You
can wake up and have breakfast all the way north, drive all the way south, have lunch, and drive back for dinner.
That's and he says that with such pride as he grew up here.
I've done it.
This is where he's from.
I've done it.
I'm a transplant from New Jersey, which is not much better. But the what was the next story?
The next story. That would be the world's first wearable gin smells like honeydew, forest, and fresh cut grass. Tamworth Distilling created a scent which can be spritzed on your cocktail or even yourself. If you've ever breathed the heady scent of a floral gin cocktail and thought it would make a perfect perfume, you're in luck.
I've often thought gin smelled like perfume. I have often thought that.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah. And I've drank a lot of gin, and even cheap gin smells like perfume.
Tamworth Distilling just unveiled Sylvan Mist, the world's first wearable, drinkable perfume gin. The fragrant innovation is the brainchild of Stephen Grass, the craft distiller's founder. A 2023 Food and Wine Drinks Innovator of the Year award. Innovator of the Year, Grass was inspired by the history of distilling. I remember reading a book on perfume and alchemy years ago, and I thought it was really interesting that the origin of how spirits were created was the search for perfume. But also, if you think about the relationship between gin and perfume and how they're made in botanicals, it seems very symbiotic. From there, Grass envisioned an aromatic gin that would be as appealing, spritzed into.
I know I love it when women smell like gin. It's just such a positive omen to the rest of the evening. You know what I mean? Or I guess it really depends on the expression on her face, but
Is that Beefeater?
I mean, is it come in a large drinkable? Is it like something you spray on your drink, or is it can you just take shots of it?
I think it's such a strong aromatic that you add it to something else because, in fact, it even appears to be an atomizer. I'm going to share my screen here. See, it even appears to come in an atomizer.
Oh, wow. Look at all the pretty flowers and shit. Fragrance innovations, the brainchild.
Based on the fact that there's some grapefruit there, I would say that it's probably the botanicals that you see are probably.
Do you remember the old gag from Looney Tunes where they would spray the perfume on themselves and then give himself a shot in the mouth?
Absolutely.
Pete's on my page. Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right, Iggy. Okay. All right. So I didn't hallucinate that. That's what that reminded me because of the squeeze thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. For alcoholics, you can just give her like a little bit. Just keep it at, just keep it at 0.18, just at the, or point.
Nail down a formula that was flavor dense and safe to consume. and it had to be appealing.
Wow.
I wonder how this took so long to come about.
It's a unisex scent. It's woodsy. Combines violet leaf, chamomile flowers, juniper.
I mean, not for nothing, Pete. They actually put shit, like they put shit in perfume and like the isopropyl blue. The reason they call it isopropyl alcohol is because they put isopropyl in it, so alcoholics won't drink it.
Yes, it's just
that's the only fucking reason isopropyl is used.
No, I was getting at the fact that I've worn beer as a scent for many years.
No, not for nothing. My wife bought me a whiskey scented body spray. And I always thought I was like, why would I want to, if I get pulled over, I don't want to smell like whiskey.
Not at all.
I don't, you know what I mean? But it's not a whiskey scent. It's that fake whiskey. I mean, it's, it doesn't smell like whiskey. It doesn't smell like alcohol, but it smells like that flavor they try to.
It's like English leather doesn't really smell like leather.
No, it doesn't even smell like an Englishman. Hey, I can smell their blood. Fee, fi, fo, fum.
Okay.
I don't know. Just rambling. But yeah, I don't think, if it smells like gin, I think it's a bad idea. But if it's just like a very pleasant
I think
odor that you can.
It smells of the botanicals. I think the idea here is it's
spray it in your vodka and make it.
Basically.
Gotcha. What, Iggy, you enjoy a cocktail?
Sorry, I'm square.
You don't drink?
Yeah. Nope.
No.
I was going to say, oh, never mind.
Okay. Is that like a lifelong choice or just kind of?
Yeah, the super boring story. I never started drinking.
Good for you. You ever
You
start smoking?
No.
Cigarettes?
No, I'm super straight edge for no good reason.
Good for you. Did you go straight edge? Listen to like Minor Threat and shit back in the day?
I wasn't even that cool. No.
Oh.
I more just saw my buddies in college being super messed up and gross and being like, "This is
that doesn't look
fun." And somehow that idea stuck with me. Like,
yeah, I'm a binge drinking alcoholic. I'm currently on a sober binge.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna give on Saturday. I'm gonna dive into a bottle because it's going to a wedding reception. I might not because I have this ulcer. I've also I've smoked, drink,
live your life.
No, I know, but it's all caught up with me. And I'm a 46-year-old man with the strength and dexterity of a school bus. No, not just the strength of a school bus, but the dexterity of a school bus. So, well, that's good. Well, I know. So I guess you wouldn't be interested in smelling like gin.
Not particularly. I wouldn't.
Or smell gin.
Well, for the next story, you might want to hang on to that perfume gin, because there's a pastor in South Africa who claims that he can heal people with his farts.
I can make people sick with my farts.
Do you feel that you have exhausted all of your options when it comes to receiving a faith healing for your lingering illness? Well, look no further.
I don't feel like I've,
Oh,
you know,
A
I don't feel like I'm
pastor
out of options.
A pastor in South Africa claims to be able to heal people of their spiritual and physical problems with his farts. No, not making this up. Pastor Christ Penelope. Yeah, that's his real name. Christ Penelope. Of Sevenfold Holy Spirit Ministries in Sayadani Village, Limpopo, South Africa, has created a buzz online for his unorthodox method of healing people after a photo of him sitting on the heads of people, apparently farting on them, went
sitting
viral.
on their heads, like you can't just be in the room. It's got to be a direct inject. Like what? I don't
make the
understand
rules,
this.
man. I just tell you about this stuff. I don't make the rules.
Jesus Christ.
And I believe that the offending the next line of the story is here's the offending picture, but it appears to have been removed from the article. If you're
Oh,
like
of him farting on someone's face?
apparently, I mean, it's been removed. You
I guess
might
we'll all just have to use our imagination.
sure. You might have found yourself a little bit concerned for the well-being of a poor parishioner who finds themselves wedged between the floor and the pastor's butt. But there's no reason or need for concern. She may look like she's having her head crushed under the weight of a grown man's body, but she's actually on the receiving end of Pastor Christ Penelope's magical healing gas.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm not a lucky man. You know, I've had some. Everybody knows I have my spiritual arguments with myself. I have self doubt. I've got a lot of problems. I do, but I've taken solace in the fact my entire life that I have never had another man's ass in my face. Never once. And I think that's worth holding, unless that's your thing.
Right.
It's just I prefer. I have a thing about diseases, right? And
You don't care to have any more of them?
right, well, right, exactly. And fecal matter causes disease. You understand what I'm saying? And that is what I'm saying is all he's doing is giving people pink eye. And I guess when you get pink eye, you're not so much worried about the other shit going on.
Maybe.
Your eyes glued shut. That's not the only way to get pink eye, but that's a good way to do it.
Pastor Penelope absolutely swears by his method of faith healing, insisting that it is simply obeying the will of God.
Does he receive money for this?
Couldn't tell you. I would imagine there's a donation involved. That's usually how faith healing works.
Right.
When interviewed by South African magazine The Drum, he explained, "It started with Master Jesus when he stepped on Peter. It is the demonstration of God's power. Just like God made Adam go into a deep sleep, it is a similar thing. God didn't do anything with the body of Adam while he was on the ground in a deep sleep. He was not feeling anything. The Bible doesn't say anything about Adam saying, 'God, you are hurting me.'"
The Bible doesn't say anything about God farting in Adam's face.
No, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. He continued,
Hey, Pete, did you go to Catholic school?
I did.
You
8
did.
years.
I went to
Actually,
Catholic
12
school.
years.
Mike, you went to Catholic school, didn't you?
I did not. I was
You
raised
went-
Catholic.
You were raised Catholic. Did you go to
And
CCD?
I dated Catholic school girls almost
Yeah, you did.
exclusively.
Absolutely. I'm dating those public school chicks. Iggy, did you go to public or private school?
I was at a public school.
Public school? I didn't mean to. It wasn't a. Anyway,
I don't remember any of this.
I don't remember. I don't. It's 12 years of religion class. All right. For the first 5 years of my schooling, it was CCD, which was after school. So when they presented Catholic school to me, that was just meant less school. Right. I didn't have to go Tuesday afternoons. I could go hang out with my friends because I went to religion class at school. It was the best. Even a uniform, I didn't mind wearing it because I didn't have to think about what I was wearing to school. My uniform. Right. But never once it was like, let God fart on you. That was never, this is the flatulence of Christ. Amen.
No.
The holy thing.
I don't know. Is there any more to this? I'm sorry.
No real further Well, this is interesting. Some people collect his his farts in jars so that they can just crack open the jar and inhale
You just
deep.
crack open a miracle anytime you want.
How do you label that?
With duct tape and a magic marker, I'd assume. How else would you label it?
Okay.
All right.
Biohazard.
All right. On that note, I think that's it for our A block. Stick around for the B block. We're going to talk to Iggy Perillo and all about everything that she does. And
Which I'm given to understand does not include farting on anyone.
0%. Yeah, sorry.
and no drugs or drinking, which is
Yeah.
which is fun. That's a good thing. You know, you look much healthier than I do most of the time. But stick around. You can check us out on themediavirus.com. You can give us a call, 646-VIRUS-01. That's 646-VIRUS-01. Did I miss anything, Mike?
I don't think so.
All right.
Other than to remind everybody that coming up in the C block, we're going to have Just the Tips number 37 and Maddie's TikTok Nonsense Corner.
That's right.
And we'll be back right after this with more Media Virus Podcast.
Hey, this is Timmy B from the Fight Insight podcast. You're listening to the Media Virus Podcast on the Media Virus Podcast Network.
And after all that, guess who forgot to start recording on time?
I think it was you.
Yep.
So you're going to pull from the
Only the opening. I did manage to.
only the most important
figure it
part of the show. Okay. That's why we do everything, and why there's so much overlap.
Yep. And you couldn't even hear where I spliced it last time. So.
No, I didn't even notice. Very, very good. How you doing, Iggy? You having fun so far?
Yeah, y'all are very entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
You got some hard-hitting news there, too, so it's always good.
I mean, it's just, we try to figure out what pops up this week that we can make the most jokes about. And like everybody makes jokes about, like, all right, the president, the government.
Yeah, boring, for sure.
It's the same shit all the time. I don't want to hear that. Or if I wanted to hear it, I'd go listen to somebody who really, really does it. You know what I mean? We're a bunch of amateurs just making, stupid comments. I'd rather go listen to a professional make jokes about important things so I can learn something.
I'll start the recording on time this time. You ready, Matt?
Yes, sir.
And we're back on the B block of the Media Virus Podcast. In the podcast production system, there are two separate but equally important groups: the guests who think they have something to say, and the hosts who completely exploit them. These are their stories.
All right, we're back with Iggy Perillo. Iggy, thank you so much for coming on. It's so nice when someone is willing to completely risk their reputation with absolutely no upside to come hang out with a bunch of derelicts. So, as I've said before, this show can be like taking a long walk down a dark path with a bunch of strangers. So
a short beer.
So thank you very much. Tell us a little bit about, what you've got going on like right now, and kind of a little bit about what it is that you do.
Sure. I help leaders and teams just not suck, primarily, I guess, is how I would describe my work in broad terms. And a lot of that looks like helping folks manage conflict better. I have this little guide to helping people emotionally intelligently manage conflict. And it's called Dealing with Bozos and Bullies. Beautifully, no one ever, except for you all occasionally, would admit to being a bozo or a bully. And so most people are like, oh, everything's fine.
I would actually say I'm kind of both.
Well, there you go.
I mean, it really depends. It really depends on where the other person is on the social ladder.
Exactly. You're all very advanced here in a very cool way.
I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of introspection. I understand my flaws.
You know yourself. Perfect.
Yeah, I do. And I work on it. That's the other half of doing it, is working on it. But please, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's perfect.
But
unlike you, exactly. As I was saying, unlike you all, most people would say, oh, there's conflict on my team. There's conflict in my organization. There's conflict, blah, 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 blah. And very few people are like, wonder if they are somehow the cause of that. And yes and no, people are cause conflicts. Leadership, the culture of an organization is defined by the mood of the leader. So if the leader is like aggressive and like everything my way or the highway, you're actually going to have a very toxic culture percolate throughout your organization. So I help people who are on those teams and also leaders who are in the sort of more self-aware category who realize like, oh, I could be doing this better, or things don't have to be this terrible. I help all those folks do the hardest part of doing really great work. And that looks like one-on-one meetings, workshops, different things. Right now, actually at this exact moment, to be honest, I'm launching a workshop called Don't Let Your Work Eat You Alive, Survival Skills for Personal Sustainability. And that's for helping people manage those tough work environments. So I work with other partners. I'm working with a partner for that. I do just a lot of different work with organizations, teams, athletes, humans.
So how would an organization get in touch with your organization? Now, do you have other like folks that like other coaches that you recommend in different areas? Like because we're on different sides of the country.
Sure.
But that's the nice thing about a podcast. Not only does it sit forever, but it's worldwide.
Global.
Do you have like a network that you recommend, or?
It depends. So much of the work is easy to do over Zoom, and I can travel, that those things are more and more happening out here. A lot of one-on-one work happens just literally via Zoom. Oh, you found my little link tree there. Here's the things I'm working on. There's my my workshop, some guest appearancing on the podcast world. Get that checklist. I help people out. I work with educators too to bring some emotional intelligence to their work. But there are people that are more specialized in different things, and I love referring people out. Like I have a friend that works with family businesses, and the dynamics of managing family plus a corporate environment is unique, right? And so
yes.
I would love to send people to someone that really specializes in family businesses. I love working with new business owners. So folks that have expanded and grown their small business and are suddenly taking on employees and are like, whoa, I'm in charge of people now. I love those people in those sort of leadership growth environments are sort of some of my favorite type of clients to work with. So other folks, you really just have to resonate with your clients. And if it's personality or what they need, I'm happy to send people on to someone I think is a better fit, because it's no fun to work with people that are not the right fit to work with.
You mentioned something and it brought up another memory. I was, for the longest time, I was a high school dropout. I worked as a carpenter. I built kitchens and stuff, and a lot of very hard work. And my 30th birthday, my back blew out. I got out of bed. I stood up. I fell right down, could not move, and realized that I could not count on my body to get me through life. So I went and got an associate's degree online. Hey, it's better than a good enough diploma. And it's better than, just no high school, better than being a high school dropout. It's better than being GED. I got a little bit, another rung. So that got me, I got a job I was called the marketing coordinator for a place called CBR Woodworking. CBR is the Cabinets by Robert. Robert was an asshole. And he was one of those dudes. He was one of those dudes that was his way or the highway. He didn't like anything anybody else did, but I had to make presentations for him all the time to see if he liked them. He didn't like fucking anything. Pardon my French, but you can understand, how angry I would get. Now, I worked for he was the big boss. The dude I shared an office with, and my boss was the marketing vice president. Marketing. And we had 3 meetings a week in the morning. And I called those meetings the bus stop, because that's where I was getting thrown under the bus.
Oh, right.
Right. I was always, but I couldn't trust him on a professional. I couldn't trust the VP on a professional level, but I could trust him on a personal level because me and him used to do the weirdest shit to this guy. He bought a fish from the market and we stuck it in his car in the summertime. We hid it under the seats because he never cleans out his car. This dude smelled like fish for 3 months and it kept getting worse. And it was just like, nobody wanted to do it. Like I was timid and everybody worked in this fearful environment, but you get vengeful. Like you look for ways to, kind of lash out at this guy. That's what we did. And I realized that was immature and something I shouldn't have done at the age of 33. But I did. You know what I mean? And what would an emotionally intelligent person, because I wasn't at the time, but I don't think I would have stayed in that environment because I feel like in that particular case, I had a lot of things stacked up. Like I was really stacked up against, and it just seemed like I kept losing footing. Like there was no, in that, I'm just saying in that particular case.
I think if you're more intelligent, you'd have come up with the fish thing on your own. Just saying.
That's true.
Maybe.
I don't think I would have trusted my boss, the VP enough to join me. I would have probably just done that. That would have been a solo mission.
Right. Well, I think you bring up some really great questions. Not everyone can just quit up and leave their job. Like that is universally true. They were like, "Oh, just get a new job. It's terrible. Get a new job." Like the reality is, there's so many reasons people can't leave the job they're in. They
fired me the week before Christmas.
Oh,
for no
classy.
Reason, just because they were restructuring.
Right. Yeah, and you mentioned I think that key term is trust, right? If you don't feel like you can trust people, it gets really that makes it a hard work environment in a different way. Like if you don't quite know what to expect, or you don't quite know who's got your back, or you think people don't have your back, that's super draining. And if you can't leave that environment, that's really, I would say, soul crushing fundamentally. And you have to persevere and work through that.
Oh, they went out of business like 2 years later. Like it wasn't like they were not a good company. It was not well run. We had to run on Friday. Last one to the bank, didn't get paid.
Oh, because there wasn't enough money in the account.
Wasn't enough money. Yeah. We got paid Monday. But last one that was it was anyway.
It sounds like it had a lot of problems.
Well, and they were caused by like one dude doing it his way. He had people like pressing the alarm and he had people screaming in his face, and he was just like, he didn't trust anyone around him.
Yeah,
I think that came because an employee had an affair with his wife, and they took off together. Like one of his employees is now married to his wife, and Robert, if you're out there, ha. But it wasn't me, and what it was funny is the guy who told me, because when I first started working in a different cabinet shop, I was working with this dude Keith. Keith kept telling me how awesome CBR woodworking was to work at. So I kept hearing how awesome so then I started hearing how awesome this place was to work at. So I finally interviewed at the place and was going to mention Keith, and somebody, my nephew worked there, and he pulled me aside. He's like, don't mention Keith. I'm like, what happened? He's like, he stole Bob's wife. This is like right before, like I'm walking in. He's like, yo, don't mention Keith. And I was like, because it had just happened. So, anyway, so what? Sorry.
So how do we fix this? Is that the question?
No, but my question is, what are some strategies to deal with a work environment that is similar to that one? Like, what are some things that you can do to maybe improve your work culture or just improve your sanity?
Right. Those are two things you can both work on. And this umbrella of emotional intelligence, there's 4 sort of distinct pieces of it, and any of them folks can engage with in a different way. One is self-awareness. And so learning about yourself, how you react, how you respond to things. And once you're more self-aware, then you can position yourself better theoretically. If you knew I have to run to the bank every Friday, cool, I need to clock out at 4:45 so I can get a head start. Like whatever you know about yourself is going to be useful. And also this is like knowing what things get under your skin and make you really, angry or knock you off balance, or what things are really calming and soothing to you. Any of these different pieces of self-awareness, you cultivate the stuff that's good, kind of try to find a way to minimize the stuff that, is not serve you well. Great. Awesome. The next thing is self-management. So that is, how am I going to respond in this environment? If I know I'm going to get in a screaming match every time someone talks to me and I don't want to get in a screaming match, how do I manage myself to not get into that screaming match? Or conversely, how do I cultivate endurance in myself to sit here and be a part of this environment hour after hour, day after day in the small office with this person? How am I going to build my personal resilience, my personal sustainability, and manage myself through that? Next, we have relational awareness, which is cognitive empathy. And this is not feeling with other people empathy, but understanding how other people feel. And that, I think, opens a door to understanding and humanity at some time. So if you are thinking about any of these characters you just described, there's like the boss, the VP, Keith, your cousin, all of them have an emotional reaction to this place, and understanding that helps you build connections with them. And once you have connections with people, we're social creatures. We feel more satisfied when we have strong, trusting social connections.
That's because I don't necessarily like the job that I have now, but I enjoy, and I mean, my boss is cool. He is cool. But he sometimes listens, but, it's the people that I work with that I enjoy working with them.
Absolutely.
I like them. And that makes the job a little easier. That, definitely you can put up with a lot if the people around you are a support system.
Yep.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the last one, is relationship management. How well do you get along with those people? How well do you manage conflict? How well do you manage those relationships you have in that environment? There are skills you can learn in any of these areas that will make that environment feel happier for you, feel healthier, feel more sustainable for you.
Yeah. Is there a way to control your emotional intelligence in traffic?
Oof, there's training, there's habits, there's practice. Just like anything, control is, I think, an illusion for most of the world. So
thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for saying that.
That's
control
not license. That's not license.
Control is an illusion.
Control is an illusion, but responsibility is inevitable.
That's wow, so beautiful. Thank you. I had this thing happen to me on Monday, where I live on a circle. Like, it's my neighborhood is one big circle, and it's a two-way street. And, there's parking on both sides. And when there's parking, and there's little places. So people have this habit in my neighborhood of just stopping in the middle of the street where they could have gotten over 3 feet up or 3 feet back, but they're stopping in the middle, and they have conversations with people on the street or another car, right? Or something like that. And it was the morning, and I'm an idiot in the morning. I have no control over myself in the morning. And I was the passenger, and we're going to work. I ride with my wife, and I got into an FU match with these people. And I never do this. Like, I was like, if I had full control of my faculties, I would have thought better of this. But I got out of the car, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Because it was like minutes. Like, it was longer than it should have been. And the one guy was like pointing me to go between the cars, and there was not enough space for my Buick Enclave to fit between those two cars. Like, maybe if I was driving a Geo Metro, but not this automobile. And I get out of the car. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, he's trying to tell you there's glass over there. And I'm like, there's glass over there. You're there. And then it just turned into a FU match. And then my wife finally turned around and just went the other way around the circle, which we could have just done in the first place. But again,
did you have to walk across the parking meter?
What's that?
Did you have to walk across the parking meter?
No.
She waited for you to get in?
Yeah. It was actually my idea, because I got in the car and I was like, just turn around. And then I kept screaming, F you at the, at the people. You know what I mean? So that was a lapse in judgment.
But some self-awareness, the mornings are hard for you. And now the next step is then to look at how can you set yourself up to optimize your mornings or your interactions in the morning. That's the self-management piece, I guess.
yeah, that is I think what one of the I've worked on a lot, and I mean I've destroyed in a marriage because of my temper and I never struck anybody. You know what I mean? I wasn't, but I was emotionally abusive. I was, verbally, and because that's what I'm not going to get into excuses. I was that, and I realized that that's not a way to act. Like, and you can't. I learned things, and you go, Anyway,
I'm here for learning. Good job.
yeah. So I've been on this, but I think some of the things that attracted me to invite you to come on was the questions you're always ready to answer, and how can I lead? How can I be a leader if I'm not the boss? Like, was because I feel like I'm in a position at my job where I could take on leadership, but I'm not the boss, and I'm right in this. So what are some strategies or tips, for lack of a more eloquent word, that you could bestow upon me?
I will bestow them.
Thank you.
I think there are a lot of people that underestimate the power they have just in those work relationships. So by being aware of yourself and also building those work, and like a lot of us will just say, oh, I have friends at work. Oh, they're my friend. They're my friend. Like, yeah, they feel friendly, but they also, saying someone's your friend, you're articulating some level of trust, some level of connection, some level of commitment to each other, even by just describing someone as a friend. And not that you're like, cool, now use all those, connections for your own devious purposes, but more, there's power in those connections. And if you want to make a change in the environment, it helps to do it with friends, especially if you're not the boss, in a title or in like a manager role officially, or, and a lot of times we'll see those people.
I'm basically customer service. Like, I'm the customer service person, and it's a shipping company.
Mm-hmm,
We deal with a lot of customers who warehouse and ship out their things in our warehouse, right? And so I think one of the advantages is that I'm not a manager. So when there's an issue that I think I can address with employees, I can go up to them and go, "Hey, man, I've been getting a lot of complaints about this. Like, can you look into what's going on?" And I usually do that to the person that I think is the problem. You know what I mean? But if I go, "Hey, can you look at what's going on?" They start to pay attention to.
At that point, you've empowered that person.
Right. So instead of going down and go, "What the fuck are you doing?" Right. I go down and go, "Hey, man, this is going on. We've gotten like 3 complaints, the same thing. Can you look into this for me?" And they go, "Yeah, okay." So I think I've kind of learned like that, like using my relationships with people and my status as not the boss.
Yes.
I think I'm doing well at that. So that's, if you have anything else besides that was a dumb fucking I completely just all the words went out of my head. Pete.
That's all right. I think what you're asking for is like, cool, what else? Is what I hear you say.
Kind of without being rude, yes.
That's all right. I think if you're not the boss and you see, so there's all this like kind of weird conflicting advice people get in work environments where something's going wrong, right? Well, should I fix the problem? Should I bring it to someone else's attention that there's a problem? Should I talk to some people and like kind of point out that they are the problem, which it sounds like you're doing very diplomatically, so they look into it and kind of address it. And it depends, right, on the situation, on the what's going on around there. But I think the overall big picture is treating people like humans, which sounds really boring and not very like glamorous. But the reality is so many people feel dehumanized in their work, and like they're just, well, I need to be productive because that'll make me a better cog. So I'm less of a human if I'm more productive. And like there are some complicated byproducts of capitalism that make it hard to feel human in many work environments. And so the more you can do to treat people like humans and to accept that they are humans, that you are human too, I think just goes a long way. And that is super vague, but human, right?
To quote my father would say, "You're here to work, not to feel. Get back to work." is what my father would say if I told him, hey, you're making me feel dehumanized. You go, well, get back to work and feel later. Right. My father would give me projects to do and go like, I'm not paying you to think. Don't think. And I'm like, hey, Pop, I think that wire's live. I'm not paying you to think. And then watch my dad get shocked across the room. And it
Tell you for not turning the breaker off.
Right. And yeah, right. You should have. Why didn't you tell me the wire was? I did. You didn't listen. So yes, but making people more treating people like humans, I think, is something that I've been working on. And not that I had a tendency of maybe I did. I looking deep, I don't want to get into I don't want to start crying, but treating people like humans, like making someone feel seen, heard, is something that I'm really starting to take value on. And the little things can make a big difference.
Yep.
Bringing in bagels or something on Friday can turn, if you can make somebody look forward to a day, even if it's, the one thing about CBR woodworking, it's funny I say bagels. One thing every Friday, bagels. And they got bagels from a specific place. And it was a big company, so there's a lot of bagels. But they had these everything bagels that had these big thing of rock salt on them. And luckily, my office was right next to the break room. But if you didn't get to that break room, those everything bagels would be gone. And then what? Then you're stuck with like a raisin bagel. You know what I mean? And they were okay.
It's not even a bagel. Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's a cake.
Questionable. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, if you're going to abuse people, bring bagels.
I like raisin bagels.
I think that's if the one thing Iggy wants us to take away from this is if you're going to treat people shitty,
Bring bagels.
Yeah, that's the number one message. Absolutely. I think, but you can, and to like actually wrap up, like slightly relatedly, you can listen to people, you can make them feel seen, and you can make them feel heard, and you still don't have to agree with them. Like you can do both and hold that in your space.
You can hear someone's opinion, understand it, and still not
And most likely they only want you to feel like you understand it. They don't actually even care if you agree or disagree. They just want to feel understood. And that is really the heart of making people feel like humans, like that they feel understood.
Right. So that goes into like, how can I be a better leader? Because I am, I guess the leader of this crew here. And so I guess my main focus right now is how do I get Pete to do what I fucking ask him to do? You know what I mean? Like I've asked him to do like 30 fucking things. He's delivered none of them. He shows up, has no idea who the guest is. It's how do I engage Pete so I don't have to smack him?
Raisin bagels, I've heard, number one.
Okay.
Number one is raisin bagels. I think other than that, I don't know. I think there is like the complicated long answer is understanding what needs Pete is meeting with his behavior, and there are models to look at people's behavior meeting their needs. And so if there's something you want to have done, a task that you want Pete or anyone to do, and they're not doing the thing, they're making a choice with their behavior to do something to meet their needs. And so your research part of your brain needs to be like, cool, what need are they trying to meet with that behavior? And is what I'm asking them to do conflicting with their values? Maybe, who knows? Or is it counteracting how they think they need to get their needs met? So if, you need Pete to go get the bagels and he's like, no, that is not what I need to be doing right now. I'm really busy eating all these other bagels over here, which is maybe a bad convoluted example. How do we meet Pete's need for consuming bagels, but also getting bagels at times too? Like what would balance that out? So it's a question and conversation with Pete, I guess.
Pete, go get some bagels. That's what I heard.
I heard that's
Pete's
mainly what you need to be doing.
Next company meeting.
I heard they're all going to be raisin bagels, so that's not going to go well.
That would make me very angry. You better get some good everything bagels and some lox, for Christ's
sake. Slap on the giant rock salt. Just go find that. Pour it in a jar.
Just go to Home Depot. Oh my God. I love lox and bagel. Nova lox. Oh, that's a breakfast, man. I was holding on to that. I've been waiting to say that joke all day. I had that joke. How do I get Pete to do what I wanted to do?
There's your answer. There are ways. It's like, look at the reasons, the behavior, the needs are being met or not met.
Yeah, very, very cool. So all right, that's a good question. What do people need to know to do their best? Like, like terrific. What do I need to know to do my best?
I would say you need to be super clear on your actual values that you live by, not your aspirational values. If you ask my casual survey of many, many people, if you were to say, hey, what are your personal values? They'll say honesty, integrity, and something based on a childhood minor trauma incident that they had. But in reality, your values are this fossilized version of your habits. So your values are guiding your habits every day. If you dig into why you do the things you do, how you do them, you will uncover that record that is your personal value. So understand your personal values super duper clearly will help you do your best, because then you can act consciously in alignment with them and not be in this state of cognitive dissonance, it's called, when we are acting
Yes.
out of alignment with the
When
things we think we should be doing.
When your values don't match your actions. Yes.
Absolutely. And that is like more draining on us than I think we always consciously are aware of.
Oh yeah. No, it's funny when you like go back, when you become kind of self-aware, and then you go back and you start remembering these things, these stories that you told as funny, and you realize how much of an asshole you are. And then, or you start telling a story that's funny to you, and then somebody goes, like, we challenged each other one time to write stand-up routines. And my stand-up routine was just a cry for help and why I was a misogynist. That's literally it. It was just why do I feel this way about women in general? And this is I was mistreated, maybe, as a little bit. But by today's standards, you'd call it abuse, right? But I was raised in I was born in 76. 76 to 96. There's the rules were different for raising kids. I was a feral child for most of my life. I ran around, did whatever I wanted, and then when I got caught, I got smacked around.
And therapy was not a thing. No one would ever say that.
Therapy.
Ooh.
I remember going because my teachers recommended I go to therapy. They wanted me to get on meds because I wasn't behaving the way they wanted me to.
They want some compliance. Check.
Compliance, and I am a habitual non-complier. I will not comply just because you want me to.
That's called oppositional defiant. Yeah.
I am a defiant. Oh, I'm a defiant son of a bitch. I will during the pandemic, you want me to wear a mask, you better have one for me. I ain't buying one. There ain't no way. I had to, no. And I'm like, I'll go to do the dishes and my wife's like, hey, can you do the dishes? I'm like, no, I don't want to. That's
why it's so great when I have a problem with the show. I just call Matt and say, Matt, I'm having a real tough time with this. I don't need your help at all.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Me. I'll fucking take care of it. I don't. What do you fucking?
Reverse psychology. Ooh.
Yeah. So I did cut you off, but I was kind of saying, when you kind of look at when you understand what cognitive dissonance is, and then you start to identify the flaws in your behavior, and then you start to understand how your behavior affected other people, and then you contemplate suicide because you've been a terrible person, and then you go, well, no, I can still be terrible. It'll be okay. I don't want to,
accept your terribleness. That's my other message.
Just accept it and
embrace it. Yeah.
Embrace it. You kind of have to, before you can start working on it. Before you can start improving it, you really have to accept it, and accept it deep down, and then go, all right, this is something I want to work on. In the last stretch of my life, I want to try and make amends for the 40 years of terribleness. Now I want to, but know what your values, and then the next thing. I cut you off again. I apologize.
Oh, that's great. I think that I appreciate that tangent, because it's the reality, right? We have to be aware of things at all, and then acknowledge them, and like take accountability for our behavior. Like that is really the pathway to making any meaningful change. And there's, some people say like, oh, you need mindset, you need confidence, you need all these different little pieces. And really it's awareness and accountability. And I'd say support of other people in some way, because it's hard for us to change or grow or evolve in substantial ways in a vacuum. We're like, oh yeah, I'll just go, close myself off from the world for 2 weeks and come back a new person. Like, good luck. And as soon as you interact with people, as soon as you go back to that same environment, you're back in those same habits of behavior. You're back in those same habits of how we act and interact. And so, yeah, finding the right supportive voices and people and humans in your life, which can look like a lot of things, right? A supportive voice might be like the hard boundary of like, this is an absolute no. Like that can be supportive, right? If you have a someone there to be like, this isn't gonna fly here, whatever it is. And there are supportive voices that are elevating and uplifting and, offering suggestions, ideas, coaching, all those different kind of host of other helping, supporting kind of roles. But if you're not clear on your values and you're not clear on sort of at least some hazy direction you want to move in, and I think setting yourself up to see progress over time, you will struggle. But I think we totally can change our defaults. We can absolutely change our habits, even if they've been, built into our lives for the past 46 years, whatever it is. They're still only habits. They're still only habits of behavior, and it's possible to build new neural pathways. Our brains are not actually shriveling and dying after we become age 25. Like, brain development ends at 25. Like, cool, then it just shrinks. That's not actually true. We can still grow and learn neuroscientifically and as people. I think values are a great place to start, and then acting more and more in alignment with your values every day is just a lot easier than trying to tell yourself, don't do this, don't do that, no to this, no to that. Like, telling yourselves no a lot feels limiting and feels constricting, I think, to many people. But how do I act and how do I support this value in my life? How do I see this in this relationship? How do I see this in this, work situation? How do I see my values present around me? And like living, not just like, well, I'll make a little post-it and stick it out there and, that's my values, there you go. But how am I acting and living through these?
Right. And I hope this is, something that you agree with. But, just because you've had that cognitive dissonance where your behavior and your values conflicted, or your behavior completely broke away from your values, you went off into the weeds, so to speak. That doesn't mean that you can't just regroup and plow forward. That's not the only aspect of working on, plowing forward and just taking from that, the past is history, the future is a mystery. All we have is the right now is a present. That's I fucked it up, but that's we can only deal with what's right in front of us. And if you know your values and you know where you want to go, then handling what's right in front of you should be kind of not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but the path is clear.
Yeah, it's within your power, within your locus of control to do something in the present. Absolutely.
See, that word is in your question, and I didn't ask it because I didn't want to sound stupid, but can you just locus of control?
Yeah.
Define what that is.
Absolutely. That's the idea. There's sort of two versions. There's internal locus of control and external locus of control. So external locus of control is the things that happen to me that are out there in the world, and internal locus of control is the things I can affect or change or do in myself. And we are skewed. We see the same thing in a different way, right? Like, so I might see if I'm in an argument with someone else, I might blame them, right? And be like, oh, it's their fault. Oh, they can't believe they didn't do that thing. I can't believe that they let me down again. I can't believe that they're untrustworthy, blah, 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 blah. So we give them the power to start the argument or to be like, oh, they're causing this. They're making this happen to me. Versus my internal locus of control reframing might be like, oh, how did I contribute to this? What's my part? And it sounds like some of the work you've actually done, like that cognitive dissonance comes from the switch from external to internal locus of control, things that happen to me.
How could I have avoided that?
Well, yeah. And
what steps could I have taken to prevent that from happening?
Yeah. Or what steps do I take now to like move forward productively? Both are what's within your power of control, and things will literally happen to you. You can't control everything in your environment. You can't control what other people say, what they do, or, how people act or interact with you. But internal locus of control builds your sense of self-efficacy, which is your sense of power to do things as a human and as a person, and to have an effect on the people around you and the situations around you. And that's internal locus of control.
my mother used to say, you can't control what people say or do to you, but you can control how you react. And that never made sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, how do you control how you react to things? And that's one of the, it was just kind of, that I guess I developed it over time. What helped me was having a child on the spectrum. And having a child on the spectrum, I mean, he's 20 now, but having a child on the spectrum, taught me, it was very hard lessons to learn that my behavior was not, good for him. He doesn't understand sarcasm, which was my only form of communication for the longest time. I could not, there was no way for me to convey my feelings without making a joke or saying something cutting. And, having my son's therapist say to me, that's not, he doesn't get the sarcasm. He doesn't where with my oldest son understood, like, you could have a conversation with him when he was 2. So, and him and I just bonded where having, my second son, Ryan, he's, on the spectrum, and him and I have a lovely relationship. Now I get him every weekend, but I had to leave that environment for him to start to progress because I was the toxic. I mean, I was part of the chemical reaction. Can we say it that way? You put 2 volatile chemicals together and they explode. You can't blame the ones individually, but you can remove one and not have it continuously explode, so to speak. Hard lessons learned. And not everybody, I think I share this in an attempt to be kind of funny and, understood, but also to, share what I've had to go through so that maybe people don't feel so shitty going through it. Because I know how shitty I felt going through it. And, that's why I guess I keep kind of relaying this back to me. And and kind of just to keep the, so we, looks like a conversation too. If I just go, all right, answer question 3. Oh, speaking of, because I know you're short on, I know you're what? Do you don't have the, all right, we're going to play a game. I'll pull it up.
I've got it.
If you've got it for the question roulette, guest roulette.
Just in a moment.
You have that?
Yep.
And that's from 1 through 40, right?
I'll tell you in just a moment as soon as it hits the screen. Loading.
I appreciate you sharing, Maddie. Like, thanks for.
I appreciate you listening. I really do. Like, because
these stories matter to share and tell.
I think so. You know what I mean? And maybe if you came to my company and were speaking, I wouldn't share this in front of just my, but into a microphone to the friggin' world.
Yeah.
Totally
sure,
different.
Why not?
Totally different. Global audience, yes. Friends, people I know, no.
Because in my mind, I'm in my closet. I'm literally in a closet. You know what I mean? And it doesn't. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to my 3 friends, and I sometimes have to remember I'm also, live streaming this to the world, and we release it as a podcast. But if what I've gone through can help somebody, and what you have to share can help somebody, or inform somebody. That's the kind of the point of the podcast. You have that up and ready there, Mike?
The
People
numbers
are not alone.
1 through 40.
Okay. So we found this really, it's stupid. Every question on here is more progressively stupid. It is 1 through 40. And I would like you to pick a number from 1 to 40. And we're going to ask you that question.
I'll go with 14.
Good luck.
14. The best Methodist church handicapped walkway railing to skate. She's running through. Oh, no, that one's Catholic. No.
I know. That's literally what I'm doing. I'm like, where have I seen people skate recently? Ooh, that's a rough one. Methodist. There's not a lot of Methodists around. I guess I couldn't tell you where there's a Methodist church, to be honest. So What was that?
There you go.
I feel like there might be a skateboard in your history somewhere.
I'm not a skater, no, but
Not a
I
thrill
appreciate
seeker. You're not an adrenaline junkie either.
in different ways, but not skating. Yeah, no.
I mean, you do a lot of public appearances, right? That's
I do some, yeah.
that's
That
nerve wracking. That can be.
And in front of people can really do that for some people.
this whole podcast, just hanging out with you all. Ooh. Thrills right there.
Appreciate it. I know.
Thrills and chills.
I know. Listen, it's a pleasure to meet me. I know it. You want to play again? You want to throw another?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that was a. I don't know where there's a Methodist church. Sorry.
Well, it's going to be more ridiculous. So go ahead and.
I can't wait.
Throw a number for us.
How about 17?
17.
17. Your favorite member of Eiffel 65.
I do not. I have no familiarity with Eiffel 65.
Eiffel 60. I looked it up today.
Good.
Because I was going through those questions. Eiffel 65 is a German Euro dance group.
Oh.
And their music is terrible.
The one that most looks like Dieter from Sprockets.
Oh, well, yeah, he's the guy right up front. So
yeah, I would imagine from that type of band.
Sprockets. I used to love. Oh, Mike Myers was a genius.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
there totally is one. I was right. That guy. Obviously that guy.
There you go.
Well, little did I know.
There you go. Iggy, thank you so much for hanging out. We did run a little bit longer than you said you wanted to go. We're going to go into the next block. If you want to hang out, you are more than welcome to join us it's really not that much fun. I mean, it is. It's, whatever. You're more than welcome to join us. But if you'd like to go, we can understand. This would be the time to do it.
It's been lovely. I do need to jet a little bit, but thanks so much for hosting me, and I look forward to all those raisin bagels in the mail. That's gonna be super sweet.
All right. If you want to mail Izzy raisin bagels, you can send them to P.O. Box 506. I don't know any towns in Oregon except for Portland.
And
Perfect.
if you want to put a fish in Matt's car, he lives at.
Oh,
Yes. Good luck with that. Good luck with both of those projects. Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you so
fellas. I'll see ya.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Be safe.
all right. Coming after this, we're going to get into Just the Tips with Stanley McFadden. We are going to take a look at Maddie's TikTok Nonsense Corner.
And we're also going to hear about a bunch of stuff that bothered Matt this week because he called in to 1-646-VIRUS-01 in an effort to show you just how easy it is to get your voice on the Media Virus
Podcast. We almost nailed it. I almost hit you perfect.
Almost.
Almost.
Very close. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Media Virus Podcast. This has been the B Block, and we'll be back right after this with more Media Virus Podcast.
I still have the YouTube up on my computer.
I understand completely why we did not run a spot for the 100 hottest women. But
Yeah, we'll do that in C Block.
yeah, just remember to do that.
I didn't think it
It would have been uncouth. It would have been.
I didn't think it would. I didn't think it would fly well.
No.
All right. I'm going to go to the little producer's room after I save this before we start the C Block.
Every time I send out the links to Marsh, he responds, "Gay." That's it.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right, dude. You okay, Pete?
Fine.
All right.
Peachy.
I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That was.
How do I get Pete to do what I fucking want to do? What are you eating? Hydrox?
Yeah, I guess.
Are they?
They're basically Oreo cookies from Aldi. I forget what their
Aldi.
store brand is. The
Huh?
starts with a G or like Goodsons or something like that.
I got you.
And these are better than Oreo cookies. Like these, they actually taste like chocolate. Like Oreo cookies.
I like Hydrox, dude. I like Hydrox
Yeah.
better than fucking Oreo.
Well, I see the feed come up or the whatever ad come up or something on Facebook, and it tells you like all these hidden secrets of Aldi's, or which things at Aldi's to buy and which ones to pass on. And these were one of the ones they were like definitely like buy them, they're great. They actually taste better than Oreos. And I
There's
agree.
a lot of stuff at Aldi that I prefer.
But do not, under any circumstances, buy their summer sausage.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah, everybody said it's terrible. It's like beef fat in a tube. It doesn't resemble meat, and some other things there, but they didn't have all the things at the Aldi up here on Kirkwood Highway that were on the list. I was kind of looking for the what were they?
Aldi's kind of hit or miss when it comes to this. Comes to stuff.
Yeah,
they either have it or they don't. But if they don't have it, they usually have something that's like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
They had a line. They had 3 different of these Easter Irish cheeses. One of them was like white chocolate raspberry cheese. Fucking delicious. Decadent as a cheese. Sharp. But the chocolate, like, and the chocolate, like, kind of nulled the sharpness just a little, like, little bit. And then the raspberries just kind of, like, brought this whole floral bouquet into. I enjoy Irish cheeses.
I like cheese. I love a good cheese.
I find I like goat's cheese.
Is feta
goat's cheese?
That is great.
Is feta goat cheese though?
I think it is a goat milk cheese.
Feta, no.
You recording?
I am.
Speaking of cheese, we have an article on the link list about how Parmesan is made.
Do we? I did not look at that because I was running hard and fast at making the. I was.
Yeah, no, I kind of.
And I had a place where we thought we were going to go.
I'm at a point now, where if you ask me on any given day what the monologue is, it's different than the day before. What's that monologue going to be about? It's different than the day before. It kind of like, and it just so happened that, like, weed's been in the news and this thing has been happening. So I've been we've been leading with marijuana stories. So it's been, that's been the, so it's like worked out. But, what I always try to do is figure out what the first story is going to be and try to, weave a yarn to introduce it. And when I noticed this evening, that the top 3 hadn't been changed and the link list was still all green and all that, like, how he hasn't,
So,
Go ahead.
I mean, this is something I knew. Provolone also has the same issue. But it's a bad day to be a cheese-loving vegetarian. Now, not a vegan, because vegans wouldn't eat the cheese just because it was made using animals' milk.
Right.
But if you're a cheese-loving vegetarian, on the other hand, you'd be okay with that. But the fact is, it turns out that one of the most beloved and iconic cheeses, Parmesan, is actually made using animal rennet.
What's rennet, Mike?
Well, if you're not sure what that is, prepare your stomach while we break it down for you. Warning, this may leave you feeling a little queasy. The little known fact about how Parmesan is made. Parmesan cheese is made with animal rennet, which is an enzyme that comes from the fourth lining of the stomach of animals, typically calves, goats, and lambs. The animal is
The
usually
lining of
killed in
which
the
stomach? Of the
process.
fourth stomach.
No. The fourth lining of the stomach.
Oh, the fourth lining of the stomach.
Yeah. So the fourth layer deep of stomach lining. So as you
Oh.
can imagine, to get to that, you typically have to remove the stomach.
Well, yeah. Do you think they're killing the goats just for the fourth lining of the stomach? Or, hang on, what if we kill the goat and we processed all the meat?
All of it.
All of it. Like
Because
anything usable on that goat, let's process it.
goat chops are delicious. Ask the Jamaicans.
And while we're at it, let's grab that thing that we need.
The rennet.
The rennet in the stomach. Let's grab that. Or do you think they take the stomach out, throw the rest of the goat away, and then take the fourth lining of the stomach out and then throw that away?
Now, I'm pretty sure that they use as much of the goat as they can.
Oh, all right. Then why are
That's the
people
way I would do it.
right? I read the article. It's like, and you have to kill the goat to do it. Well, no shit.
Let's just take into account all the goats that they've killed already.
Right.
And then maybe consider that that's where they're getting the rennet.
Probably.
Rennet is taken and dried so that it becomes a solid. Then, when it's time to make the cheese, the rennet is rehydrated in water. The liquid is then added to milk, which is then churned to make the cheese.
That's how you make cheese.
The rennet is the ingredient that helps break the solid particles in milk away from the water content in order for them to form a solid mass, allowing curds to form.
Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet,
Eating
curds
curds
away. Down came a spider and sat down beside her and said, "Hey,
What's in the
What's in
bowl?
bowl, bitch." That was Andrew Dice Clay. That was not. I did not come up with that on my own.
No, my godmother taught me that years before I saw Andrew Dice Clay do it. My mother was real happy about that one.
I'm sure of it.
What's in the bowl, bitch?
Bitch.
So yeah. If you didn't know that about Parmesan, it's also true for provolone. They use animal rennet in provolone as well. In fact, I believe it's pig rennet that they use in
Provolone.
provolone. Yes.
So provolone's not kosher. Or
No, and it's also no good for our Muslim friends because they.
Right.
they
all right. Or I said
product
halal.
as well. Yes.
It's called halal.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not halal. They don't.
You can't eat that. I was unaware. I'd also I lived like 39 years before I found out that they needed to use pig cartilage to make gummy bears and shit.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. Like I met my
You can get
Matt's
kosher.
got a friend from college who's from I think Iran, or his dad's from Iran.
Mhm.
I think I might be wrong. If that person is listening, don't get upset. I just don't remember at the moment. But
From a Middle Eastern
country, and his
yes.
father's very strict, and he learn all kinds of shit that he can't. They can't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more strict sects don't drink.
Yeah, it's crazy. How do you do that?
You just don't.
It's fucking weird. Anyway,
It is a bit different.
What's the brand of coffee that the beans are eaten by monkeys and then
shout out?
It's not a brand. It's a type of coffee. It's called civet coffee. Civet cats, which are not really cats. They're this little critter eats coffee cherries and then craps out the beans, which is actually the pit of the coffee cherry, and then they collect the crap and break the beans out of the crap and make coffee from those. They say it's sublime, and I will never know.
And you're a coffee
I am a coffee junkie.
aficionado.
I will typically eat. I will just pop beans sometimes and chew on them
Yes,
because they're
Right.
delicious.
they are delicious, especially covered in chocolate.
Yes, good espresso.
They sell those at
cookies
Wawa
are-
now. They call them uppers or I don't remember. I also saw an article. These are all from I Fucking Love Science too, which is very strange. I also saw an article that there was a study that showed that men don't want to stop eating meat because it threatens their masculinity. We don't have to get into it, but I found that fascinating. Somebody had to do a fucking study on that. Yes.
I don't-
men, what?
I don't know about my masculinity. It tastes good.
I mean, it tastes good, but there's also like, there's something about, eating another animal that is very primal that I want to, like, I respect the animals I eat. Like, if,
Yes.
like, I will now have more respect for provolone cheese and Parmesan cheese. But there is still, there's a connection. I mean, I know I'm getting mass manufactured and, industrially farmed animals, but there's a connection to, the circle of life.
Yeah, but
We are the top predator and we should behave as such.
it's like when I was recently offered some deer jerky by a gentleman, and it was from a deer that he fell. So naturally, I accepted it, and I was very grateful, and I enjoyed it. And there's something a little bit more special about that animal that that there's a direct connection. This animal was taken down and was butchered in such a way that it was honored. It wasn't.
This animal roamed woods around here.
Yeah.
This animal was alive and doing what it needs to do, and somebody went out and did what he needed to do to control the deer population, and that's now he can make jerky and feed his family, and there's a respect that goes into that.
Yes.
But I don't like. There is something about being a man. Like I don't look at not eating meat as feminine.
Right. No.
I think that's I think it's being a person, like being human. You need to consume the flesh of other animals. This is your domain. We need to go there.
That, and we're omnivorous, which sort of means that we're not obligate carnivores, but if we're not going to eat meat, there are other things that we need to do to supplement. In fact, my buddy's wife, when they were getting ready when they were having the discussions to have children and they decided she was going to get pregnant, she was eating a vegetarian diet and decided that, what, if I'm going to be pregnant and have a baby, that's not the way I want to go. And she went back to meat. Not like, I mean, she didn't just like go on a full on meat only diet. Don't get me wrong, but she reintroduced meat to her diet so that she didn't have to artificially compensate for it, because it was more important for her to eat a natural diet than to compensate in an unnatural way.
Exactly, because she had her child. So when it came down to her child, she knew that meat was important.
Yes.
And I think was that child a boy?
He is.
There you go. That's why. See?
They didn't know that at the time, but yes, he is.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it was the boy that went, "Give me some fucking meat, lady. Give me some meat, lady. This bullshit. I want meat." Pulling the cord. Meat!
That was a storyline on Friends when Phoebe was the what's the word?
Pregnant?
Yeah, she was carrying the baby for her brother and her brother's wife, Giovanni Ribisi.
I didn't watch Friends. I didn't watch
You
Friends.
didn't watch Friends?
Don't give a shit. So please continue. I know who Phoebe is.
All right. Yeah,
I understand the storyline.
Phoebe gives up meat while she's pregnant, and Joey agrees to eat all the meat that Phoebe's not eating. He eats all the meat that she's given up. Such a like really,
Somebody had to do
such a
it.
hard thing to do. Somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to pick up that slack, and there,
Somebody had to pick up that slack.
Absolutely. But we, speaking of slack, we do have Adjust the Tips, right, Mike?
We do, and we'll let that pick up the slack in our being entertaining right now.
I just want to move things along.
Right, and pick up the slack where we're not being entertaining. No, I get it.
Weren't? I thought we were being. I thought my give me meat and pulling on the umbilical cord was pretty funny. Okay.
Just the Tips with Stanley McFadden.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Media Virus Podcast. It is I, the one and only Big Daddy Professor, Big Technology from UAV, bringing out to you another episode of Just the Tips. Tonight's episode number 37. Ladies above a certain age, all you seem to think about is getting married because you've had this fantasy ingrained within your head since you were a little girl that you're a magical princess and there's gonna be a Prince Charming who's gonna come along and rescue you, and you're gonna get to sew clothes with mice and you're gonna dance at pretty balls all night.
Does anybody get the feeling that one of these days somebody's going to walk into the break room while he's recording one of these?
Yep.
I was sitting here going, I know why he usually does these in the car. He's in the break room. This seems unsafe.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing here that this just the tips. Can we give Stanley a limit of like 5? Like, I feel like you should be able to make a point in 5, unless it's like, a major production.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think we can probably put that out there.
Okay. I think we just did.
These are the balls in your future. The problem with that fantasy, ladies, among many, many, many other things, aside from the fact that it's horribly unrealistic, is the fact that so many of you want to get married but have no idea on how to get or keep a man or make that man happy. See, it's easy to get married. It is. I can go down to the courthouse, sign a piece of paper, and be married. Take an hour. What's difficult is the work that goes into it. What happens after you say I do? After you cross that threshold of the door and you get home, when that wedding dress comes off, what happens then? Are you prepared to do the work that it takes to maintain a marriage? The reality is that most of you are not, because what you want is the fantasy in your head that will never match the reality. The truth is, ladies, that there is no longer much true incentive for us as men to get married. It doesn't exist anymore. See, let me explain something to you. Because so many of y'all have taken so many of us to court and have taken half of our shit time and time again, the things that we as men work hard to provide for you. We work hard to provide a life.
So maybe he wasn't in the break room. I'm thinking maybe he was in just randomly in somebody's house. Which is even funnier because, if somebody busted, who are you? What are you doing here? Anyway.
for you. And then you turn around and take half our shit. Most marriages end in divorce. Most divorces are initiated by women. Most marriages are pressured by women. So you heifers push and poke and prod us men into getting married. Then you push to divorce us. Then we get clean swept at the courts and we lose half our shit. So tell me, what is the incentive for us to get married? What is the why? Tax break? Someone to make legal decisions if I should end up laid up in a hospital bed? What do you bring to the table? Exactly. So before you pressure your man into putting a ring on your finger, I want you to think about that. What are you bringing to the table that he cannot get anywhere else? What incentive does he have to risk half of his shit for you? Most of y'all, when it comes right down to it, ain't worth the risk of losing half our shit. So many y'all get to have the excuse of eventually, I've had enough sex. That's it. I'm done. I've hit menopause. We're past that. But you don't expect us to be past providing for you. See, you get to decide when you're going to take away our favorite toys. You get to decide, apparently, when I'm here just done having sex. But what happens if we as men decide, you know what, dog, I don't feel like going into work tomorrow. I don't feel like providing anymore. Oh, y'all would turn around and have a fit. But that's what y'all doing to us. See, there's a contract, obviously, in marriage. We provide financially and resources. You provide that ass. If you aren't fulfilling your end of the bargain, why do you expect us to fulfill ours? See, that's the give and take. If we are protecting and building the roof over your head and you're supposed to be keeping that home, then you need to do your part so that we can continue doing ours. And if you don't do your part, stop expecting for us to do ours. It's just not worth it. And men, if you are considering getting married, think twice. Is this bitch worth half of your shit now and forever? If you're already married, try to keep that woman happy. Go through these tips that I done left. There's plenty of hours of content, good solid 100+ tips in almost 40 episodes. Go through these tips. Find the ones that are going to work for you to keep that woman happy and keep you sane. But if you ain't gone that route yet, gentlemen, think again. Media Virus Podcast, just the tips. Till then, happy fucking.
Talk about incentive. First of all, we're treated like buffoons. Men, husbands are always, every commercial, every sitcom, the dad's a buffoon, but the dad's the one supporting, everybody. We constantly hear from women that they don't need a man. We're told we're toxic, and not for nothing, but now the pussy can just fly at you. There's so much porno out. Honestly, there at OnlyFans, you can find, and there are loose women. They're easy to find. Okay. The same ones saying they don't need a man. Well, fuck you. They will. And they're saying they don't need you. So what, why stick around? There's no incentive for that. They don't want you. They don't need you. Right.
Sure.
But
I'd also like to point out that in their entirety, the views that are expressed on the Just the Tips segment are not necessarily the views of the Media Virus Podcast. and the Media Virus Podcast Network.
I actually started writing that down. But I wanted to fly into my agreement with him. And because I wanted to fly in where I agree with him, but there's also, I think you and I kind of share this, you know, I know my wife is the breadwinner and you know, my income helps, but her income is, you know what I mean, what we work, what we live on.
Which is an entirely different situation. That is a partnership.
No, absolutely.
And that is how it's supposed to.
Now, here's why. I had absolutely nothing walking into this relationship. She owns a house and a car. So I don't know why she just really wanted to lock me down. She just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to go anywhere. And I have no idea why. There was no, it must be my winning personality.
It's because it's illegal to take a nail gun and nail your foot to the floor.
I don't think the law is something that she's quite worried about, you know, staying within bounds of. Joining us he always kind of like, you know, masters that, joining us right after Just the Tips. We just finished up Big Daddy, our BBC correspondent. How was your day today?
My day is pretty good. I did get the message about shortening up the Just the Tips, which received. There are some times where I get a little.
I gotta tell you, we actually made this one longer, but I jumped the gun with complaining about. I mean, if we can, you know, we don't have. I'm not saying keep them at 7 minutes. What I'm saying is that one was the perfect. Like you made good points. It
all the way through.
All the way through. It wasn't.
There are times where I repeat myself.
It you didn't.
Bat of suck his dick that you just beat.
Right.
Yeah, I'm slightly disappointed that was not, you know, brought up. And two, was anybody else waiting for the Cinderella joke?
Which one?
Yeah, he made them.
No, the Cinderella joke. What did Cinderella say when she got to the ball? I was like, no. It was like
we got to make it just now.
You had it right there.
We just did it live in real time for everyone.
Yes. Yes.
How was improv rehearsal?
It is good. We are going live as a business. We are now part of the Newark Arts Alliance. Tickets are on sale through Ticket Leap. First show.
I used to work for Ticket Leap. I worked for Ticket Leap for like 3 months. They fired me quick.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I sucked at that job.
Newark Arts Alliance on June 2nd, I believe, is the first show. Tickets are, I believe,
John Legend. John Legend is an angel investor in Ticket Leap. Yeah.
You can buy your tickets through Ticket Leap.
20 years ago.
You $10 at the door. You can find Forgetful Squirrels, either Forgetful Squirrels / Ticket Leap, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The YouTube channel's now live.
Nice. What's the YouTube channel? Forgetful Squirrels.
Forgetful Squirrels.
Forgetful Squirrels. That's very good.
All social media outlets. I'm probably running I think I'm running all but the Facebook. All of them are Forgetful Squirrels.
If we were to purchase tickets, where would we see these Forgetful Squirrels in person?
We would see them in person at the Newark Arts Alliance in Newark, Delaware, on June 2nd at 7 p.m. Tickets are only $10.
Does the
Arts only $10?
It does. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But you can find out. You can find out more by checking out, the Forgetful Squirrels social medias and all that stuff. And go ahead. You know what? Go ahead and purchase your tickets through Ticket Leap. Give them the business. If you're gonna go, you might as well. And
you can see a different side of Big Daddy, one that isn't quite so interested in getting his dick sucked. I mean, still interested in getting his dick sucked, but maybe not on stage.
You probably got a better chance of getting it there than on the show.
That's probably I hope so.
It's probably gonna get you more traction in that department.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so June, what was that, 2nd?
June 2nd. I think it's a Friday.
June 2nd, Forgetful Squirrels at the place where you'll know
Newark Arts Alliance.
Newark Arts Alliance. It's right. It's near the Bob.
Okay.
276 East Main Street.
It's near the Bob's. I used to not work at that Bob's, but you can go shop for furniture and then go check this out. There you go. This is what you do. You go to Bob's. They got ice.
No. Not Bob's.
The Bob
The
Carpenter
Bob.
Center.
The Bob Carpenter Center.
Oh, I thought you meant the Bob's Discount Furniture. But what you should do, is stop at Bob's Discount Furniture. They got free ice cream and cookies and little candies, right? Stock up on snacks, and that way you can throw shit at them.
If you please throw snacks at Big Daddy. Big Daddy likes some snacks.
Big Daddy is a snack.
I like snacks and panties thrown at me.
Speaking of snacks, Matt lost his snacks over this past week and called in to 1-646-VIRUS-01 with angry voicemails. Let's take a listen.
I've had the weirdest fucking day, and I got nobody to fucking vent to, so I'm calling you. First, I made my tea in the morning, but my dog escaped. So I had to go wrangle the dog before we left for work. And then guess what? I forgot my tea. So then I had to get a tea at fucking Wawa. Well, what happens at Wawa? Pay for coffee, cold, fucking bullshit. I bought 2 burritos. I only remember eating one of them, but apparently I ate both of them because I can't find the other one. I get to fucking work to find out from a customer that we had put the wrong load on the wrong truck. The kick in the ass is, this is the second fucking time we've done it to that customer. So what did I spend my whole fucking day doing? Figuring out where the fuck this load is. And then I go to fucking clock out. I clock out. And then I just start walking towards my office for some reason. What the fuck? That's it.
Well, he says that's it, but he doesn't mean it because he called back.
Just give you guys a quick update. I did find that burrito. It was apparently under my jacket on the passenger seat. So when I went to go pick up my wife, I found it. It was room temperature, but I like my burritos room temperature. All right. See you guys later.
So there you have it.
That's right. Update on the burrito situation, the burrito affair. But staff writer Bill had an incredible. I'm glad Big Daddy's here for this because I wanted to include him.
Production meeting
in this conversation. Well, I feel like this is a discussion that we can have. Or we can at least let's introduce the idea and then we can kind of think about it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You guys ready?
So imagine a worldwide tournament. All 8.6 billion people are in it. Single elimination fight to the death. Right. It's going to consist of 33 rounds because if you divide that by 2 and then 2 and then 2, there's only 33 rounds in the tournament. How far is each cast member going to survive, assuming it is seated like a normal tournament where John Wick will be fighting a starving infant?
John Wick fighting a starving infant. All right. So what you gotta figure is what your ranking is in the world tournament would be, and then you would, like the top, like John Wick's fighting a starving infant. The top is against the last seed, right? So where would you start? How far? There's 32 rounds. How far do you think you would make it in a worldwide battle, a single elimination tournament, where you have to kill the opponent?
Barehanded or with weapons?
Call.
I feel like we can make this decision right now. Who, with a show of hands, who wants to fight infants barehanded? Okay, who wants to use weapons? I kind of do too, though. I want both.
But if you get weapons, they get weapons.
It's true, but okay, all right. But you also have to consider like Bill tried to sell it to me. He's like, dude, think about it. You would rank pretty high. I'm like, why? I was like, well, you're male and you're come from you're fully grown, you're male, and you come from a country that has food.
Not wrong.
Right. So
Not wrong.
even someone in my condition would be above center.
Yes, that's fair.
Right. So I might have to fight like an Ethiopian woman.
That's fair.
But she might have more to live for.
She might, and if she's pregnant, do I get a pass on the next round?
That's a good question. Does pregnancy give you a bye round?
Right. But everyone, like, you got to figure the elderly, I might get matched up with like a chemo patient. First round, second round, even. If feisty chemo patient might make it to the third, fourth round, or even like maybe a well-trained 10-year-old. might make it to like round 5, conceivably.
There's no accounting for the Hitler Youth.
I mean, I'm just saying, where do you think? I think it's an interesting thought experiment. Staff Writer Bill. There's a reason I call him Staff Writer Bill. You know what I mean?
33 rounds.
Big Daddy.
I think I can go at least halfway, right? Because I'm male, I'm in my prime, I work out, I'm black, I'm huge. I will punt a fucking child through the uprights. I think I can go pretty far in this.
You don't have any children of your own, so there's no attachment to this idea of, oh, it's a child.
Right.
Exactly. I'm going to punt that motherfucker as hard as I can because.
So you think you can make it at least 16 rounds?
I think I can get halfway.
Halfway. Listen, that's
I mean, he's still angry at babies on airplanes, so.
Exactly.
Was that you?
Probably.
We didn't grab that, did we?
I'm barely over 40, so
yeah,
I'm still in my prime. I think I can get about halfway.
You have some martial arts experience, right?
I do. I have.
You also have improv experience, so you can make the motherfucker laugh, and then
right before I kick him in the dick.
Yeah,
slapping that dick.
And you have a lot of weapons in your arsenal.
Or cunt punt an old Italian woman.
You might have to. She might be feisty. You get on she gets you on the ground. You got to do what you got to do.
I've known some feisty Italian women.
Yeah. So Big Daddy thinks he's going to make it halfway, 16 rounds. Professor, what's your estimation of yourself?
I like to think I could go 14 or 15 rounds anyway.
Wow. Okay. All right. Good for you. You think because you're mean and you're wily.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
All the fucks, they're mine.
I think Gen X in general is going to get pretty fucking far because we don't have any of we have 0 fucks left to give.
Yeah.
And the next one is the boomers, and they're all gone in the first round.
Well, yeah, the boomers and infants are going to be eliminated first round.
Yeah,
so really think about it.
We're probably the first actual people that are going to do well in this because we ain't going to give a fuck.
I mean, Gen Z is going to be so confused that we're using hurtful words.
Yeah, just scream a stream of obscenities, and they'll be like, "Oh my god!"
Just drop an N-bomb, watch them start crying, and punch them in the face.
Doesn't have to be directed at anybody. Just say it loud 3 times.
Just loud
enough, like Candyman.
All right. Well, What? I know you don't give a fuck, but do you go to fisticuffs often? Are you trained? Like, do you do any kind of?
No, but I've reached a point in my life and age where I've just decided that it doesn't matter.
No,
I
I
don't
agree.
care.
No,
I
I
don't
got you.
care. I'm coming. Here.
Okay, good
One
point.
of us is gonna die. I'm gonna try it and make sure it's not me.
Well, yeah, I don't want it. I don't want to be dead. I'm gonna try and make you dead. I understand it. Grease Monkey Pete, what do you think your estimation of yourself in a worldwide tournament? How many rounds do you think you would make it through?
Well, I have to think about this two ways: pre-surgery and post-surgery.
Well, you are post surgery right now. This
I am
tournament,
post-surgery.
We're planning this thing. How
All right.
far you go?
Pretty high tolerance for pain.
Okay,
So, I'm going to give myself a good 10, 12 rounds.
10, 12 rounds.
Yeah. Because, like Big Daddy, I don't have an attachment to kids. I will punt a baby. Yeah. Just like him, yeah, 10, 12 rounds. I think I could go.
That's wow. That's you guys have some pretty high estimations of yourself. I mean, I kind of feel like it would I could be taken pretty easily, actually, without weapon. Like if I don't have a weapon, I would have to. My strategy would have to go for the strikes with the most impact on them and the least damage to me, because I can't throw a ball without intolerable pain, right? So like a quick chop to the, I might, maybe able to get away with a quick chop to the throat, but my opponent might have that same point of view. You know what I mean? So I would say 6, 7 rounds for myself. That's how I estimate me making through this tournament. Doesn't
You're
mean
saying you Doogie Howser them?
I don't know what that means.
You never saw Doogie Howser?
I saw Doogie.
He got into a fight and he goes through the same thought process, and he decides, strike with the most intensity, and he claps the dude in the ears and ruptures the dude's eardrums.
Oh, well, that's good. Thank you for that point. That might help when I'm fighting that well-trained 10-year-old.
You're welcome.
If I'm up against that well-trained 10-year-old that first round, I might be fucked. If he can climb me and beat on my head and shit.
Yeah. But a quick.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that might, if he's not, he doesn't know what I'm doing. Doesn't know where to defend. Might box his ears. That's what they call that, boxing his ears.
Yeah.
I might box his ears, and then when his equilibrium's off, kick him in his dick. That doesn't work because he's only 10. Then, I might go for his teeth. Just start bashing on his teeth.
Because they'll grow back.
Yeah.
You also have to figure a good.
Well, no, they're not. I got to kill him. That's the thing.
A good dick kick on a 10-year-old might lift him 2 or 3 feet off the ground.
That's a good point too.
They don't weigh that much.
Good point too. Yeah. Thanks, man. I'm much more confident about fighting 10-year-olds now.
Turn that thing into a mangina.
Yeah. So we're gonna put this thing together, and
fantastic.
Get it done.
But, Media Virus Podcast, kicking baby since 2023.
Okay.
So, speaking of put together, I put together a TikTok nonsense corner. I thought I'd
let's get through it because
hammer that out. And
I think I've curated some wonderful TikTok, and
yes, there were good TikToks this week.
We're really running great on time.
Are we?
I mean,
we're not that bad.
No.
Okay. So here we are.
Dude, A block and B block, we were almost dead nuts. We ran a little 15 minutes long.
Okay.
With the interview, and then we played interview roulette, which I thought was funny as shit.
Yeah, I like that. I think we should go back to that.
Yeah, I think that's just a bit we should just,
You're welcome.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Look at Pete contributing something out of the blue. Nothing we asked him to do, but
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to Maddie's TikTok Nonsense Corner, which we also call Laughing at White People. And why isn't it advancing the way that it's supposed to? There we go.
Here are 3 reasons why summoning demons is bad. It's time-consuming, the required items can be difficult to find, and worst of all, it makes you seem needy. So just be yourself. If you're evil enough, the demons will summon you.
helpful advice for everybody.
Good advice.
It does make you seem needy. You know, a lot of demons want to play hard to get, but if you true to yourself, they will find you.
Good advice.
I thought so. Thought it was worth it. Where are we starting?
I'm your oldest boy, name of Carl. They turned me loose in the nervous hospital. Said I was well.
I want that dog so bad. That's not for me. That's rchorel77 TikTok. That is the cutest. It's like half Chihuahua, half demon.
Well, Sling Blade, yeah.
Yeah, but the Sling Blade. No, it's the. Oh my God, the way that overbite and just the beer bottle in the shot.
Yeah.
This guy's a genius. This guy truly is. Gives some of the best advice. I mean, besides Big Daddy's, of course, some of the best advice for relationships.
Here's how I make sure my partner doesn't break up with me. I made a video of occasional knocking sounds under a black screen, and I airplay this onto our TV in the living room every night when we go to bed. When my partner says something about it, I pause the video and act like they're crazy. Hello? There's nothing out there. This makes the person feel isolated and alone in their suffering, while painting me as a rational savior so they're less likely to break up with me.
Good relationship. His whole channel is fantastic. I can't read his name at the moment.
Dan Henschel.
Dan Henschel at TikTok. Dan, he's fucking genius. Those sunglasses are perfect.
We've got another 3-wide panel. And we're going to go for wherever we start. Huh? In the middle.
I bet if you asked everybody in ISIS why they joined, over 40% would say traffic. Because traffic can turn a reasonable, rational human being into a murderous monster. You ever been at a 4-way stop and it's not your turn to go, but it's a person in front of you, it's their turn to go, but they're not going, they're doing this. Go, 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 go. No, you. Go, 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 go. And you're behind them like, fucking go! You have to go, or nobody's ever gonna go. There are rules in place for this situation. You're not gonna get into heaven for letting somebody go first at a 4-way stop, because I'm gonna stab someone, and that shit's going on your tab. Because go, 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 go is gonna lead to gaga, gaga, gaga. Listen, you guys, you cannot be nice with someone else's time. That is not how kindness works. If you want to be nice, join the Big Brother or the Big Sister program and bring a kid to the movie. But on your way to the theater, fucking go.
That is
one thing.
That Chad Daniels, but that is something I think about. I want to bring up. This whole podcast would be about traffic rules if I had my way. It would just be about how to merge. Don't stop at the goddamn. I think that should be a fucking like you. The person behind you, if you stop at a fucking yield sign that's entering a highway, the person behind you should be legally responsible to get out of his car, pull you out of your car, and beat you to death. Now, the problem is we get into this whole, whose fault it is. You deserve death. The problem is if you survive, then we have to charge him with not performing that duty. And that is a $50 ticket.
I have a solution for this, Maddie.
Yes.
This is what push bars were made for.
No, right. Just push them.
Mount a push bar to the front of your vehicle. When somebody doesn't go, you make them go.
The problem is
You're
it's
just
not the
pushing
problem.
them through the
Isn't,
intersection.
the problem isn't the going at a yield sign. The problem isn't the going. The problem is the stopping. There's a yield sign there. They're just telling you to pay attention to traffic. But usually at that yield sign, if you're moving at all at that yield sign, you have enough acceleration time to get with the flow of traffic and get the fuck in. But if you're at a dead stop at that yield sign, you cannot do it. And the person behind you had to stop too. Fuck you in the fucking ass. That's it, right? I mean, in all honesty, like his thing, fucking go. And here's the thing: if you're ever at a four-way stop and there's a question as to whose turn it is, this move works. You ready? You go, and you go, and then you take your hands off the wheel and you sit there. That person will go because you've telecasted your intent. You've told him to go, and now you are motioning like you are not doing anything. Three people, four people edging out. I don't know what to do. Nobody knows what to fucking do. Somebody fucking make a decision and go. Fuck.
Yeah, my decision is usually fuck all of you. I'm going to drive.
That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I usually just go. But if you know it's not your turn and everybody's dicking around and there's so many people, all the creeping, just pick somebody, make them go.
I had to once fight a traffic ticket for running a yield sign. I won.
Yeah, of course you did. Because that cop was an asshole. You were probably a teenager and he was looking for a reason to pull you over. That's why.
No. He actually didn't show up to court.
No, but he was looking. He pulled you over because he was looking for a reason to pull you over. If they pull you over for running a yield sign, they were looking to pull you the fuck over.
Unless you like blatantly did not yield to somebody that was.
I mean, but if you didn't yield, here's the thing: if you don't yield,
no traffic.
Right? If you don't yield, right, this is what happens. You collide with somebody.
Yes.
Right. And if you if you have a collision with somebody, then you didn't run the yield sign. You just crashed into somebody.
Well, see, that's the thing about a yield sign. Yield sign becomes a stop sign in the event of traffic. But if there is no traffic, it's a, continue on, carry on, sir, keep going. But it becomes a stop sign in the event of traffic. And there was
that's got to be a fucking backwoods southern fucking Delaware bullshit rule.
No, it's right up here in North Wilmington.
No, I honestly, if you have to give way to more traffic than allows you to enter, you can't just dive between two cars randomly because you think the yield sign says you can.
Right.
If there is a volume of traffic that does not allow you to enter, you have to stop and wait for such time.
There was no other car on the road that day, and they pulled me over and said, "You ran a stop sign back there." I said, "Where?"
All right, let's get with the TikToks.
Anyways, let's move on.
Moving on.
Once upon a time, there was a happy little cactus named Lars who wanted to start a band.
I'm bored and lonely. I want to start a band.
But he needed some cool friends to play with, so Lars took out an ad in an LA newspaper called The Recycler because they didn't have Craigslist yet.
Does anybody want to be in a band with me?
His wish was answered by a cool cat named James.
Hey, I want to be in a band with you. Full disclosure, I'm not spayed or neutered.
James and Lars were so happy together, but still
wait a minute.
Needed more band members.
We need some more band members.
Yeah. Soon they were joined by two new friends, Kirk the donkey.
I'm sorry, what?
This is who sent this in?
I think I added this one.
Okay.
And
Does this get better?
Not really.
Hi, I'm
Till the
a
kids
donkey,
cry.
and I like to party.
I'm the invisible man, and I like to party too. Let's be in a band together. Come on.
Yeah. Now all they they had to do was decide what kind of music to play.
Should we play country music?
No, that's not right. Country music's lame.
What about polka?
Nah, that sucks too.
How about salsa?
The band didn't know what to do until they met their new friend, Satan.
Hiya, friends. I'm Satan. I know what kind of music you should play. You'll be rich and famous and do lots of candy. You'll do lots of candy.
We love candy. Yes, we love candy.
The music you should play is
metal.
What's metal? What's that?
Metal's a cool music that uses electricity. Watch.
I mean, it'd be good if they were doing a really good job kicking over the set.
Read the title.
When Metallica involves actual puppets.
And
Things are tearing shit up.
Live happily ever after.
Jimmy Kimmel Live bit.
I thought that was fun. I think it's fun that they have that kind of sense of humor about themselves.
Yeah.
Now this,
I like the idea of introducing the idea of Satan to children.
yeah, this you sent in. I thought this was incredibly cool.
I thought this was cool too. I went down their whole. The medieval version of Metallica's One. I feel like that's definitely something that could have been aid. Or ALGALTB on TikTok. Or check them out. They do like medieval music. It's fucking cool.
I really dig covers that are in a different genre, especially something that's like this far removed. I think is really awesome.
I mean, dude, Hayseed Dixie and the Austin Lounge Lizards got me into bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love type of shit. Another 3-panel roulette.
And here we go.
So this week, Florida's been real busy talking about the death penalty. Not only have they passed a bill that says that you can get the death penalty for sexually assaulting someone under the age of 12, but they're also passing a bill that makes it so that you only need an 8-to-4 ratio with a jury to be able to decide to give the death penalty. Let me break that down in a little simpler of terms. So, if a jury of 12 decides that beyond a reasonable doubt that the state has proved that you are guilty of a crime that could equal capital punishment, that jury then also gets to decide whether you get the death penalty or whether you're just subjected to life in prison. Now, they used to need to have a unanimous vote on that as well, but the state of Florida decided they wanted to make some changes to that after the Parkland school shooter. And since sexually assaulting a child under the age of 12 is now subjectable to capital punishment, we're going to see a lot more dead chomos in Florida. And if this makes you mad, you're in the wrong place. Pedos aren't people and they deserve worse.
That's JD Delay 5150. He's an ex-con that does TikToks, and I like his feed. I thought that was fun to share. Just a little piece of information.
Yeah.
Don't diddle kids in Florida. Well, don't diddle kids at all, but don't diddle kids in Florida.
Not at all.
Not at all.
The Puritans founded the country. There were people here when they got here, but they didn't found it. They were just nation warmers. And then the Puritans came and helped those people go to heaven. And when you read about the Puritans, it always says they came here for religious freedom. And it makes you think, oh, I like those guys. They sound like my kind of people. Religious freedom. And then you read, no, it was because the Church of England wasn't crazy enough. You could eat pork chops and get a divorce. They were like, fuck that. We want to burn witches and be afraid of the woods. They risked their lives in little boats for the promise of becoming spooky weirdos. That's who founded the country.
Comedian Dana Gould. That's his TikTok. I thought that was important to share. Just his perspective is spot on.
Yep.
I'm surprised Big Daddy hasn't chimed in, but I see he's eating.
Nobody move unless you want your head blown off.
Please, please don't shoot me. I'll give you however much you want.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You think I want money? You think that's what this is about? A big angry black man comes walking in waving a gun, and you assume he's robbing the place? I ain't looking for no goddamn handout. I'm looking for a motherfucking job, bitch.
Excuse me?
You heard me? A motherfucking job. Don't you see? If you give me money, that'll just help me in the short term. But a job, that'll help me develop valuable job skills and experience. It's like teaching a man how to fish. So quit stalling, get your bitch ass back there, and give me a 40-hour-a-week position with vacation pay and benefits. You piece of shit, motherfucker, and don't make me ask twice. Back that ass up. Let's go, let's go. I can help the next motherfucking person in line. You don't have any time. What
I'd like to deposit this check, please, into my savings account, and then I need to withdraw.
Yeah. Just shut the fuck up for a minute. What the fuck you doing, Liz Ann? You calling the cops?
No.
That's the goddamn cops.
No, I swear, I was just on with an account holder. I was advising him about
I'm gonna kill you, bitch. Fuck this, you a cop? What I recommend is you keep at least $500 in your check and just avoid the minimum balance fee, and put the rest in our money market, which earn you an additional 2% interest. 3% if you keep your account over $3,000. Right. You have a nice day, sir. My pleasure. And feel free to call us back anytime if you have any other questions.
Cop.
That from a movie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I laughed so hard when I
don't know what the fuck that was.
What that was awesome. That's what that was.
When he said, I help the next motherfucker, I just lost it.
He's still wearing the mask and holding the gun. The
And
best.
pistol whipped the bitch.
Fantastic. We got a lot of TikToks today.
Yeah, we went deep this week.
So I told my psychiatrist I was hearing voices in my head. He said I don't have a psychiatrist.
That dog is fantastic. Doberman Nation. It's just a picture of puppies. Most of my TikTok feed is dogs and comedians.
Yep.
Making really scathing points. And tips on ADHD.
I ran track in the Special Olympics. Now, if you have never seen a midget run, holy shit, you don't know what you're missing out on. It is unbelievable. When a dwarf runs, the portal to heaven opens right there. Because the legs are just going off in different directions like that, and it's just so cute. But because I was in the youth Special Olympics, they didn't have everyone of the same disability. Also, if 5 dwarves were running at the same time, everyone would just die of a joygasm. So It wasn't just little people running. It was all these different kids with all these different disabilities, like some sort of Make-A-Wish all-star team. And yeah, in the far lane, there was a kid on crutches. Not worried about him. I'm gonna kick his ass, okay? No problem there. Next to him was a kid in a wheelchair. What the fuck, man? A wheelchair? That's a performance enhancer. What are you doing? Unless there's stairs on the track, I'm losing to this guy, okay? Then after that, it was me. And then after that was a fucker, okay? That's the politically correct term. That's what they like to be referred to as. They like to be called guys, okay? That's true. And don't feel sorry for him. Some of you are feeling sorry for him. Why? Feel sorry for me. I'm the guy that's got to run in this event while my dad is up in the stands. I'm looking at him like, Daddy, are you proud of me? He's like, no, I'm not proud of you. You're running next to a fucker. I'm not proud of you. And he really wasn't proud of me when beat me, okay? He beat me. He cheated, though. He cheated. His mom ran in front of him holding a marshmallow the entire time. It's backwards.
Brad Williams.
I love him.
M on TikTok.
You're a genius. We do love little people here at the Media Virus Podcast.
Yes, we do.
Welcome to our restaurant. What brings you here tonight? An Uber? Excellent. We can get you seated with a little wait. That's fine. How much will it be? 35 pounds. Okay. What's on the menu? Some greasy thumbprints, a coffee stain, and, oh, a typo. Okay. What are some of the best dishes? I'd say either the bowls or the saucers, but the plates are good too. Can you show me your finest wine? Certainly. It sounds like... Do you make your steaks rare? No, they're easy to find. I want your opinion on the entrees. How does the lamb sound? That sounds good, but I think I'll take the shepherd's pie. You're taking my what?
Just made me giggle. Just the last one?
Last one.
Oh, this guy. This is...
Arachnophobia is the dumbest phobia out there. Who cares if two spiders get married? It doesn't affect you.
It's a good point.
Dummy, idiot, loser on TikTok.
I wanted to make sure. Can we just hear that genius one more time?
Arachnophobia is the dumbest phobia out there. Who cares if two spiders get married? It doesn't affect you.
There you go. Words to live by, really. You know?
Yeah.
I love it when people say really stupid shit. It's my favorite thing. But on that note, that closes out, that completes this week's edition of the Media Virus Podcast, the 129th episode of the Media Virus Podcast. And I want to thank Iggy Perillo for coming in, hanging out with us. That was very, very cool. We learned a lot, had some good talks. We've been forgetting to mention 100 Hottest Women on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
We've
it's a place to see 100 of the hottest women.
What's that?
It's a good place to see 100 of the hottest.
It is a good place to see 100 of the hottest women. And if you disagree, you let him know, and he'll tell you you're wrong. Then don't check out everything Forgetful Squirrels. All the socials. Check out while you're hanging out on YouTube. Check out the Media Virus Network, but you're already here. If you're listening to this in real time, check us out on Spotify. Check us out. This is the easiest thing to do to figure it out. Go to themediavirus.com. There's plenty of awesome content there. Give us a call, 646-VIRUS-01. That's 646-VIRUS-01. You can make it on the show. I do it all the time. I just call the show and leave messages about my burritos and Worldwide Fight Club, apparently. Did I miss anything, Mike? What am I kind of
No, I think that's about it. Like we hit 100 hottest women. He's doing videos now. You can see 100 hottest women 10 at a time that he's putting videos out there at Instagram and Facebook. I'll put links to Iggy's stuff in the B block.
There you go.
So you'll be able to check out all Iggy's stuff. I'll get some Forgetful Squirrel links and put those here in the C block so that all that stuff that Big Daddy talked about, we can chase down at their socials. I'll put in links to their socials. And I think that's it. So with that, I'd like to thank Big Daddy, Pete, and our fearless leader, Matty Rockdeff. On their behalf, I am Professor Mike Latoris, coming from to you live high atop Uncle Butch Studios. This has been the Media Virus Podcast, episode 129. We'll be back with 130 next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, raspberry tea bag.
Horse meat burrito.
And that was all the bumpers.
The only decipherable word was burrito. And it was Pete saying burrito. Good time. Oh, let me shut the stream down. Shit. Am I over here?